City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. It was a very great weekend with 4th of July last week. Everyone was so happy to see us be able to do a fireworks display for the city. And I wanted to thank the staff at the fire department and the EMT staff for putting that on. I think everybody enjoyed having that back after last year having to miss it due to the drought and the dry conditions. It was great to have all the moisture. Unfortunately, we had some hail damage as well in the area this past weekend, and sad to hear that. But it was nice to have all the moisture. We also wanted to thank everybody that participated in the great race on the 1st. We had a wonderful, great race. We were able to showcase our city with racers that were coming from Florida all the way to Colorado Springs. The people that really helped the most, with especially like Leslie Stagner at the Welcome Center and her staff and team. We had Rotary that was involved. We had the Chamber of Commerce involved. We had city staff involved. We had county commissioners involved, as well as multiple other people in the community, including our former mayor, Roger Stagner. So I wanted to thank them all for everybody's participation in this, even the Rotary. I can't forget the Rotary. Because it was a great time and it was a great event, and we had a lot of people out there, a lot of different vendors, and it was great to get out and mingle amongst ourselves and showcase how great our city is. So with that said, we're going to move on to our city council meeting. We're going to start with the invocation tonight. We have Galen to do the invocation. Galen, would you mind?
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you and praise you for your work upon our city. We want to thank you for the safety that you've been given to us, for your blessing that you've been pouring out. I want to thank you for the moisture that we've received lately. Father, we just want to thank you for all the good things that you've been doing for us. Father, we ask now for your continuing love to be poured out upon our city. Father, we pray that you will be leading and guiding our city council and our administration, our command leaders, and our different project leaders. Father, we pray for the workers that they will continue to be walking in safety with you and in blessing. Father, we just ask for your protection and your encouragement. We ask for your wisdom in our city council tonight. Just prepare us for the things that's coming up in the future. And we want to thank you and praise you for your work, for your blessing, for your protection, for your love. We thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Okay, Councilman Gonzalez, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you for joining us in the invocation and the pledge. I will now call the meeting to order. The time is now 7:06 p.m. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Bellamy.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins. Here. Kirk Crespin.
Here.
Mike Duffy.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Brent Bates.
Here.
Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen Swartz. Here. Lance Clark.
Here.
Okay, we've all had a chance to review the agenda, but there is one item that we needed to modify, if that's possible. I had them hand out a agenda item to everybody's location there. It's a request for an extraterritorial water and sewer service out at 6734 County Road HH.5. Considering they were just needing to have this approved by the council as soon as possible, I thought we could squeeze this one on because it does not have as much background information to deal with. So if it is okay with the council, I would love to see us add this into the agenda. It would go at the end of the agenda under miscellaneous. So number 2 of the new business would be moved to 3, and the request for extraterritorial water and sewer services would be moved to item number 2. Can we get a motion on that?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda and add that item to 2 to 3. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Thank you very much. With that said, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separate? I didn't see any. Did you know of any?
I see none.
Okay. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
The new section is audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the council agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and it's at the discretion of the council if they choose to allow them to have more time. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, if you'd like to come up and stand at the podium, we just need your name and address for the record.
My name is Diana Touche. I'm located at 7009 County Road S, Lamar, Colorado. And so I have a petition for you today, and it's about the Seco Pride Fest that's supposed to occur on the 23rd of July at the Enchanted Forest and the Pocket Park as well. So, well, let me hand this to you. I only have one copy, sorry.
Okay,
So,
did you want that to read what you had put on there?
no. This is a document, and it just tells who the Seco Pride group is.
Okay,
And then behind it is the flyer that they put out. And here is an example of their dancing. So, here. Did you see, ma'am?
okay. All right,
So maybe I do need this.
okay,
And I'll give it to you as soon as I'm done.
okay. 1 minute 43.
So, to begin with, I'm going to read the petition to you. This is the one that's opposed. I also have one that's for them coming. And so here's the way it reads. We, the majority citizens of Lamar, Colorado and Prowers County, Colorado, are opposed to events that celebrate, promote, or affirm sexual orientations and/or preferences, whether heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, asexual, or transsexual. We believe any and all sexual persuasions celebrated in the public. Oh, no, wait a minute. We believe any and all sexual persuasions and preferences should be confined to the privacy of one's own home, and certainly not promoted or celebrated on public property held by the city of Lamar or Prowers County. We, the undersigned citizens of Lamar, Colorado, and/or Prowers County, Colorado, hereby petition the Lamar City Council and the Prowers County Commissioners indefinitely suspend the above noted event, to deny any future applications of similar events per the request of the majority of the citizens of the above said community as evidenced by the following signatures. Now, we've added to that, we, the undersigned citizens of Lamar, Colorado and/or Prowers County, Colorado, hereby petition the Lamar City Council and the Prowers County Commissioners to, 1, indefinitely suspend the above noted event, and to deny future applications of any similar events per the request of the majorities of the citizens. But now we added another paragraph.
Okay, well, your 3 minutes is up.
It is?
Yes, it is. That's what the alarm was. I'm sorry, what?
I would like to relinquish my 3 minutes.
Okay. To her, okay. I will restart my 3 minutes again for the next 3 minutes.
So we added another paragraph to our petition. And it states, in the event the above petition is not successful, we subsequently petition our elected officials to establish and enforce a mandate that attendees of any LGBTQ 1A, 2S plus events must be at least 18 years of age as a precaution to prevent exposing minors from any nude, lewd, or unsafe conduct that might occur. Now, I've taken this petition to Lamar, Holly, Grenada, and what I've heard is the only cure is a lock and load, which means guns. And now I sure don't want any little kids to be in a situation like that. So, this is the petition. There are a total of 633 citizens that are opposed. And as I said, I also did a petition for those that want them to be here. And so let me read this to you. I, Diana Touche, attest to the fact that I began carrying the petition that is against the Seco Pride Festival coming to Lamar on 6/23/23, but soon realized I needed to carry a petition for those that wanted the Seco Pride Festival to come to Lamar. So on 6/29/23, I began soliciting signatures for both those that wanted the Seco Pride Festival to come to Lamar and those that didn't want them to come to Lamar. And I accumulated 26 signatures on the ones that wanted them to come. And of those 26 that I solicited, without the petition, I added their signatures as, not their signatures, but I counted them. So I added them to this number, and it came to a total of 26. Okay? And that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And now I need to bring you your copy.
Okay. Thank you very much. I left you with 21 seconds left, so good timing. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda tonight? If so, please come forward, state your name and your address for the records. I'll have that scanned and sent to the council for review.
I'm Barbara Hernandez, 8305 Surrey Ridge Court, here in Lamar. When I learned about this event, I questioned, can anybody reserve the pocket park or the Enchanted Forest for an event? Anybody? And if so, what is the code of conduct? Is there a code of conduct? I asked Linda, I asked the Recreation Department. Are there any expectations of the hosts of the event? Clean up, whatever. I was told by the Recreation Department, just follow the law is all they have to do. And Linda told me, just follow the law. So, okay, I thought, well, it seems to me there should be a code of conduct, especially when we all know, when you look at the entertainers, you can see their name. So I did go on Facebook and see what these people were all about. And they are self-proclaimed drag queens. And so their entertainment is that very seductive, very promiscuous, and that's just what they do. That's their form of entertainment. So naturally, I thought, well, we got kids going by and families hanging out and stuff. So surely there's something that they must comply with, knowing that we know what their occupation is. You can see, you did see, this is one of the entertainers that is coming. And I'm sure you saw and this is pretty promiscuous. So tonight, just tonight, I was handed this. You'll take one and pass it down. There is basically a code of conduct. that is in your, the municipal code, in your code of ordinances. Chapter 14, offenses. And it's 14 through 18. And under number 2, you will see that it's under harassment in a public place, one that would direct obscene language or makes an obscene gesture to or at another person. And that's under the latest version, A, number 2. And then the second page, B, under number 8, says, as used in this section, unless the context otherwise requires the term obscene, because that's what I thought it looked like, was obscene behavior, lewd behavior. So the term obscene means a patently offensive description of ultimate sexual acts or solicitation to commit ultimate sexual acts, whether or not said ultimate sexual acts are normal or perverted, actual or simulated, including masturbation, fellatio, and I don't even know these words, or excretory functions.
Okay, if you can wrap it up, you're already
Yes.
30 seconds
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
But go ahead.
So, FYI, there is a code,
Yep.
and this is what's going to be happening on Sunday, July 23rd. So,
Okay, thank
you
you.
might hand it off to Kyle.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda? Just state your name and your address.
My name's Michael Hernandez, 1001 South 10th and Cedar. You know, the devil slipped in the hole here pretty damn easy, you know? When a person can go down there from a far left agency and turn around and destroy our community. And you know what I mean? That flag represents 1,000 of people that fought for our freedom. And here we are letting people put a pride flag on property as taxpayers' money. I think this needs to come up to a vote tonight. Because there's some concerned citizens like me that don't have kids that are concerned about the kids. They're gonna have drag queens there dressed up. You know what a drag queen is? They dress up like a woman, and they're gonna have little kids getting painted faces in this community by people, and then once they start getting drunk, they're gonna start flashing. You know, the best way to go to hell is have your hands crossed and don't do a damn thing. So I tell you what, we're in the bottom of Rome, and there's a lot of people thinking, yeah. Well, right now the weeds are standing up and the wheat's bowing. So I'm just saying, with all due respect, look at what you're doing to the children. It should have come up to a vote about anything on that agenda. The next thing is going to be the drag queen in the schools. We're going to have drag queens over at the stadium on, who's going to be the best one dressing up like a drag queen. Is that what we want in this community with our children? Don't push it on the children, don't push it in this community, and don't push it in this family. Think about what you're doing.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda? You'll have to come up and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Iretha Ryder, 6054 County Road HH5, and I believe it's illegal for a pride flag to even be flown. I think if you look into the legalities, only American flags and veteran flags can be flown. And if I can find it. And according to Philippians 4:8, it says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, and whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, And if there be any praise, think on these things. And the stuff that's planning to come in here is flat out pornography. And I don't think it should be allowed on a public place. You know, if they want to hold it on somebody's private property, that's private. But to have it out in a place where kids ride by on bikes or go, or even people like me, I would be abhorred just to see the disgusting pornography, the things that they do. And I just think that something needs to be done about it quickly. And so that was all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda tonight?
Can I go up and talk about another issue?
Well, you had your, is it a different issue altogether? Are you good with that, council, or
I'm fine with
a
that.
different issue altogether?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, yep. Just state your name for the record as well, and we'll be good.
Okay. My name is Michael Hernandez, 10001 South 10th in Cedar, born and raised in Lamar, Colorado. Taxpayer, homeowner, and it seems like the mayor's spending money like a drunken sailor. You know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, we got tax money, $250,000 you pay for Arby's land, the easement, both sides, the test of the ground, moving the building, all on taxpayers' money. Now, if Arby's complies with everything you want, you're gonna give them the land. That's slapping the taxpayers in the effing face. And you're putting the town in second place.
Okay.
Damn. Think about what you're really doing.
Okay. Anybody else would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda?
Did I have any time left? What is?
21 seconds.
21 seconds.
Okay, so the petition that I handed out to you,
Hmm?
the clause that was added later about the 18-year range. I called all those other people and I told you that I would put it okay. I didn't do that. I didn't bring those copies, but I did do. Just
Okay.
so you know, you change your thing.
Okay. All right. Council, anybody else? Do you have any discussion, or do we just want to move forward?
I have a couple questions.
Uh-huh.
This would probably go towards you. Was everything done correctly as far as reserving the city property?
Yep.
Okay. Kyle, I'm assuming you'll have some officers out there monitoring the situation, and if anything illegal is done, they'll handle it accordingly. And then I guess I've got a question for, does anyone in here have a crystal ball that can forecast what exactly is going to happen?
I don't think we have this problem.
But no crystal balls?
No, but if you'd like me to send you some, I'll do it.
You're more than welcome to. I bartended at the Gold Room in Springs for 5 years for Peaks and Pasties Burlesque. I've seen every form that they do, including public ones with very moderate clothing. So I just wanted to know if anyone had a crystal ball and can say what's going to happen on July 23rd
We
for
don't know
sure.
what's going to happen. But again, what that's surely involved in is some contents that ain't supposed to be there, and then you got liquor involved. There better be some LAC police there involved to see what the hell's going to go on.
Has there been a liquor
Okay.
case?
Order, thank you. Don't want to get carried away here and get this meeting out of order. That's fine, you had your 3 minutes to discuss that, and you presented that to the council just fine. The thing that I wanted to point out, and I would like to just say, is that you had presented us with the laws about harassment and indecent exposure. You are correct. Those are in our city charter. Those are ordinances, which are laws for the city of Lamar. There are also laws for the state of Colorado and federal laws as well. When our recreation department said they just have to follow the laws, that is exactly what we're talking about. And so,
I asked for a copy.
but that's what they're talking about. The copies are on the web, but nonetheless, they are there. The city of Lamar's the extent of what the city of Lamar can do when it comes to private or public property is our responsibility to make sure that it's available for everybody within the city limits because it is public property. We have to have meet certain requirements to deny that service to anybody, whatever their race, creed, color, religion, or anything else is. This is part of the First Amendment rights. As the mayor, over the last 3 years, I've had multiple conversations just like this about groups that don't want a specific event to happen. I had to deal with that during the COVID crisis when there was a group that wanted to do a big, not a campaign, but a big protest on Main Street in front of the city building. And I had people calling me saying, why are you letting them do that? It's going to cause riots. It's going to cause problems. It was because it was your First Amendment right to be able to do that. We had the same issue when it came up to the Black Lives Matter. The same issue when it came up to the Trump parades. The same issues because the Trump parades went on for a few days. And there was quite a few people that didn't want that happening on the city streets.
We were fully dressed.
I'm not talking, I'm addressing the questions that were brought up. In every single event, in every single case, we did exactly what we were doing with this event, making sure that everything is done by the book. They have their proper permits, their proper reservations, their proper following the rules and regulations, and our police department will keep an eye on it and make sure that they are following the laws. Is that correct, Kyle? Making sure that they will follow the laws that are by the state, local, and federal government. So that is the extent of what the city can do without appealing or going against anybody's First Amendment rights. You're talking about, or the gentleman just talked about us spending city taxpayer dollars unwisely. Try doing a multi-million-dollar First Amendment rights lawsuit against the city of Lamar because we took away somebody's right to peacefully protest or to peacefully gather. That would be a waste of city taxpayers' dollars. That would be unjust to our city citizens because somebody would have to pay for that, and that would be our city taxpayer dollars. So our extent of what we can do without causing the city taxpayers more of a burden is to make sure that everything is done by the book and make sure that they are following the laws of the land. And so that's what we're going to try to do. So I wanted to reassure you, we've heard your concerns. It's not that we're not, just because we don't cancel it out doesn't mean that we didn't hear you. We did hear you. But there's only so much the city council can do. And we can take a vote on that, but I think everybody on this city council understands what our role as a city council member is. And violating somebody's First Amendment right is not one of those roles. We cannot do that by law or at all. So I wanted to assure you that we did hear you. I wanted to make sure that you understood that, we had give you up here so you can, state your comments and your concerns to the council. But it's not that we're not acting because we don't care. It's not because we're for it. It's because we are within a certain parameters of what we can and cannot do as a city council and as a city government. And we're going to do everything we can to remain in that lane. So, does anybody want to add to that?
I would, yes. And Kurt, you are absolutely correct. Because I've had several conversations with citizens out there. Me personally, no matter how disgusting I think that movement is, they still have the right to assemble. We as a council sitting here on these chairs have to understand the roles that we take as council members. They have the right to assemble, but they don't have the right to break the law. Now, once again, I hope up to our police department that they do their part to keep the in check and so forth, and it's a peaceful assembly and that things go on. Now, I'll go back. Me personally, no matter how nasty or disgusting I think the movement is, they still have that right. Just like any other individual, like Kurt explained, they have that right to assemble. It's not our job to take away those rights of their First Amendments. And we have to understand that when we sit here on this seat here and take that in, when we have to discuss it with citizens out there that are asking us those hard questions. Because the truth is, they have the right to assemble, even though we may disagree with it.
Okay, Mike?
What about the clause to be 18 years of age since we've had, we know one Colorado was going to send a bunch of protesters down here, they're also coming from Kansas. We already know that. They represent this secret right.
We have to have a reason for blocking any First Amendment, whether it's 18 and under or 18 and over, to block somebody from going to an event. And I'd asked you that question when you came to visit me. What are the grounds of making it 18 and under or 18 and over only? What are the grounds? They're not serving liquor. They're not selling marijuana or nicotine or anything else. They're not selling lottery tickets. So what are the grounds that prevent them from going to a public event in a public location that I understand? And if they get arrested for indecent exposure, that's what would happen to them. And that's what we were talking about with following the laws. So that's how we will address it. We're not in the middle of a town hall meeting. And I'll let you speak last, and that's, so you can go ahead and speak right now, but there will be the last one that I'm gonna let speak from the audience. Just stand up if you want.
Thank you. Okay, so is there any type of law violation of an underage child receiving condoms or sex toys or any of that encouragement? They give out the suckers of the male genitals and they give out the suckers of the female genital, and those are their candies and their toys.
That would be up to the police department to determine. I'm not a law enforcement. I don't know what those laws would be, but I'm sure that they would address that if that was the case that was coming and happening.
And if they do a violation at this demonstration, will this prevent them from a future time coming? Because June was the time for them to express themselves, and they're bringing it now into July.
Right. Well, as I said, our job as the city is to make sure that all the laws are obeyed, and you're asking questions about certain items that would be based upon the law. And if they are broken, I'm sure that our police department will address that as needed, and we'll make sure that that happens. But we have a plan to at least monitor it. We're not there to harass them. We're not there to stand there on guard with clubs. We're there to monitor it. Am I correct in saying this? We're not there to harass them. We're not there to impede the event. We're there to make sure that it's staying on above the board and in accordance with all of the laws. Mike, did you want to, I'm just going to allow the council to go through and say anything that they want to say before we move on to the rest. Just keep it short, please.
I came onto this council with a very heavy heart. I served 8 years in the United States Marine Corps for this country. And I served for every one of the citizens in this community to peacefully gather and to peacefully protest. And I will not infringe on those rights. You can vote me off this council, I don't care, but I'm not going to infringe on people's rights and their civil liberties. As far as them giving suckers and stuff to children, that's the parents' responsibility. I understand it, I hate it. It's disgusting to me also. At some point, though, parents have to take responsibility for their own children. If the public wants to, if they don't like what's going on, support the police department. Set up a table out there, sit there, be quiet, and offer coffee and donuts or power pills, whatever they call them, to the police department. Kool-Aid, drinks, something. Support the police department. They are your last line of defense in this community. They will make sure that doesn't get out of hand. And pray.
Okay. Thank you, Mike, and thank you for your service. So, Joe, and again, as I said a little bit ago, I'm gonna let the council speak. This isn't an open town hall discussion. I'd let everybody speak. I give you all your 3 minutes. I'm gonna let the council go through so we can move on with our meeting. So, Jerry, if you'd like to say anything?
Kyle, I'd just like to make sure that you will have enough law enforcement there. And, you know, a lot of us have our different opinions. I mean, if they fly the flag, it's no different from people flying the Trump flag, their whatever flags, you know? It's awful, but what do we do? I mean, and that's like I'm saying too. I'm here and my seat's coming up. I would be more than happy to give it to one of you guys, because it's not that easy being on city council like everybody thinks it is. And by saying that we're this and we're that and we do this and we do that. We have rules to follow too, just like everybody else. And that's really sad that our not all our community, but some of our community is always, always putting us down. I work hard, I have grandkids, and I work for them, and I love being on city council. Let me tell you, we don't get paid thousands of dollars. I do it because I love my community. But when we have to put up with stuff like this, we get stabbed constantly in the back. And we don't even know which way to turn anymore. And that's how I feel.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Mike?
I don't know what more to really say to that, other than the fact that I've thought about this over and over and over. And the one thing that really sticks in my mind is our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, freedom. Mike probably said it best. Mike, thanks for your service.
Daniel?
I love y'all. I do know that. I've said it time and again, you cannot legislate morality. You can't arrest somebody because they might speed. And by those thoughts and those patterns, we have to understand the kingdom of God has its own parameters. And so does our Constitution and our freedoms. That has parameters too. And when we look at Scripture, the fervent prayers of a righteous man availeth much. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, principalities, powers, rulers in high places. Okay? And so I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but what I am saying is that there are dangers to trying to legislate things, because then they're going to be legislated against you in the opposite way. They're going to suddenly try to legislate against churches, maybe, and against preaching the truth. And so it's just, there are things and ways that we can work in what we do, but you can't arrest somebody because they might speed. You arrest them when they speed. And, you know, I get it, you know, the indecent things, and there's a place for everything. You go to the pool and people are in bikinis. If they rented it out for a beach party, they might be in bikinis there. I don't know. And you know, and you're right about, you know, there are things that are right and wrong about our culture and our society and the way things are going. I don't know how many times, you know, I cringe when they have backwards day and I see those young boys dressed up as cheerleaders. You've seen it. Probably some kids you know have done it. There it is, right? And so it's hard to get into an uproar about things that haven't happened yet. But pray. There's a right way. Pray, you know. I mean, these things didn't come overnight. It didn't happen overnight. Getting to the place where we're at in our culture didn't happen overnight. And I guess that's all I can say.
Okay, Brent?
I'll keep it short. I am also a God-fearing man, and I was taught by my God to love thy neighbor. And I will leave it at this. I am an ally. I have been an ally my entire life, and I will continue to be an ally for my friends and my family who are part of the LGBTQ community. Thank you.
Good. All right, so the only reason why I went through that and allowed all the council members to speak is because it does get very difficult, as Jerry said. It doesn't matter what side we try or how center we try to stay in the middle of certain topics. One side always tries to pull us or point to us and say, you're not doing enough, or you're not doing this, or you must be in favor because you're not stopping it. And that is not the case. It is our rules to stay in the middle and to try to make sure that we're abiding by the state, federal, and local laws. And we try to do that the best we can. It's not an issue that we're for this event or against this event. It's just that that is the limit of our authority as a city council and as a community government. So I wanted to give the council the opportunity to say their own personal opinions as we go through the list. But as I stated on mine, we've had these topics before over the last 3.5 years of me being the mayor. And in every instance, we've tried to address it the same way, making sure that everything is done by the book, proper permits, proper usage, proper making sure that they're following by the laws and guidelines of the state, local, and federal laws. And that's what we'll continue to do. So aside from that, I do hope that if there are any big protests, or I do hope that there's no problems. We do not want to be one of those communities that is all over the national news because somebody decided to, act out of accordance because they didn't agree with their beliefs. That's not the community we need to be. We don't need one gang fighting another gang, or one opposition fighting another, or one race, or one creed, or one religion fighting against another. That is not our community. That is not the city of Lamar. And I hope that in this event, we show what we really are. Okay. With that said, we will move on. Sorry.
I know.
All right, next item on the agenda is the city treasurer's report. Nope, we have our reports and correspondence from the council. So this will give us the opportunity to talk to the council on any of the liaison positions. We did have a review of the liaison group. Oh, no, you're right, city treasurer's report first, sorry. I got mixed up on my reports. So we'll start with the city treasurer, go ahead.
I was going to welcome a breath after all of that, but
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, council, mayor.
Thank you folks for coming.
Thank you all for coming.
We do hear you.
Thank you.
I had a few things. I promised to report back to you on the TAP grant and exactly what I could find out about what was estimated in the project costs. I wanted to report that I did confirm that those costs that were projected when we did the application did include curb and gutter and sidewalks on both 8th and 9th Street.
Wow.
So we need to digest that and see where we want to go from there. The grant's going to be phased in 3 phases. Money becomes available July 1 of '23, so the money is available. It's going to be phased. We've got $712,894 for the fiscal year '24. Fiscal year '25 is $901,258, and fiscal year '26 is $334,600. On top of that, we will have our 20% match. We did get the $102,000, I believe it was like $668, as a $668 to use as a match. I had JVA go back and look at the alternative 4, which was the Main Street West Side sidewalks. They had included curb and gutter on that, and we didn't need them to. So it was way overbid, basically, or overestimated. So we can save at least $300,000 on that. So I am under the belief that we can make this work, including that alternative 4. So our plan right now is we've scheduled a meeting, I believe it's for this week. Rob, Pat, Stephanie, and I are going to meet and get a plan together of where we need to go forward. And then my next step probably also is to need to reach out to JVA, and we're going to need to start phasing this project over those fiscal years. So that'll be our challenges. So we'll report back as we come along on this grant, and then we'll be going out for bid. We can't do anything yet until I get the notice to proceed. So as anything with State of Colorado, they have several requirements we have to meet before we get that notice to proceed. So we will start checking the boxes and moving forward on that. But I did promise you that I would come back and let you know where, what was included in those estimates. So. And then we'll use council's direction to move forward with that housing project and some things like that. So do you have any questions for me on that TAP grant at this point?
So just to make sure, there were 3 items that were included in that grant.
There's actually 4
items. And that was
Savage.
Savage Street with sidewalks.
Sidewalks, curb and gutter.
Okay.
On both sides?
One side of Savage, right?
I believe so, yes.
One side of Savage.
Right, and then we have 8th and 9th Street from Savage and then going north. And those include sidewalks, curb and gutter.
Okay.
And then the west side of Main Street
opposite
from
side.
Savage to Park is sidewalk only.
Sidewalk only.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and that will take care, because we have the other grant that was taking care of the east side of sidewalks for Main Street
Right.
between Savage and Park.
That's correct.
So we'll have the full ADA compliant sidewalks from Savage all the way to the,
Right.
actually all the way to Avenida Colonia. with this grant.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's great.
Right. So what that makes a total project, when you add back in our 20%, is $2,435,940
Okay.
with our
And what's our
match.
out of pocket?
The 20%.
200,
200,000.
and we got, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
so we're about $26,000 shy at this point. You know, I think we're overestimated on the west side. I also have another grant out there that I've applied for through CDOT for the west side, and I'm under the understanding right now, they're checking into it further, but it will be used as a match on the TAP grant as well. So if we get that, we'll also use that as part of our.
So we're gonna try to do it all with contractors, or are we maybe gonna get towards the end and we'll have to do some of the labor ourselves?
We'll look at that and see what we can do as in-kind to keep those costs down. I imagine what we'll do, though, is go out for bid for the entire project, for a contractor for the entire project, to phase that over the 3 years, is what it's looking like right now. But I'll have more of those details once we meet and get some direction from JVA as well, our engineers.
Do we have previous contractors that we've used for curb and gutter?
We have, yes, and we have big jobs. Actually, the contractor that's working on Main right now was awarded the contract for the east side sidewalks. And we usually have some local ones bid it as well. So we go out and open it up to everybody, so. Okay, so I'll bring back more information as it becomes available on that one. And then I also wanted to mention, I received an email today from the AAA funding for the senior center. We had applied for funding to offset some operations for the senior center through the AAA group, and we had applied for around $62,000 because we wanted to add a position over there. As of right now, our estimated award for the senior services is $25,589. So we didn't get what we asked for, but that will go a long ways to helping for, towards the utilities and things like that. So we are grateful for every little bit we can get. So
Yes.
we're thankful for them for providing that funding. So I wanted to report on that as well.
Thank you. That is very good.
And that was all I had, unless anybody had any questions.
Can you pass that along? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, any questions for the
Great
city?
job.
Yes, great job on the grant. That's a
Thank
big
you.
one. That's very helpful.
That's good news.
All right, we'll move on to the city clerk's report. Linda?
So I'm going to try to get through this without choking. I'm sorry.
You'll be happy. Oh, yeah.
Our May sales and use tax collected in June was $414,097.43, which was up 12%, or $44,362.92 from 2022. Our year-to-date collections were $2,571,379.36, which is up 7.32%, or $175,357.45 from 2022. So we still can continue to trend upward.
Trend upwards.
And then I do have one other item. It's just an update. So I am putting in the newspaper the call for petitions. It will run in the July 20th, the July 27th, and the April 3rd edition of the Lamar Ledger, and
August.
probably the Prowers. August 3rd, and the Prowers Journal, plus it will be on our website. It's just letting everybody know the positions that are coming available, which right now we have one position in Ward 1 coming available, 2 positions in Ward 2, 1 position in Ward 3, and of course the mayor. And people can start picking up petitions beginning August 8th at 8 a.m.
On August 8th. And when are they due back?
August 28th.
So they have 20 days to
4
get the
o'clock.
petitions filed. Okay?
And I'll keep giving reminders out
Okay.
as time goes by.
All
And
right.
that is all I have.
Okay, that leaves any questions for the city clerk from the council?
None here.
Good job, Linda.
All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the city administrator.
All right, so before I get to some of the events that are going to be happening, just everybody knows that we've had lots of openings in the city for employees, and we've done an exhaustive search, and we have a good news story. We have our new Parks, Recs, and Cemeteries Director here today. He started work today. He's already started getting to work for me, so I wanted to, Anthony, would you like to stand up and say howdy to everybody?
Good evening. I would just like to say that I am honored and humbled to serve in this position for our city and our community, and I look forward to doing the best I can for the city of Lamar. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you.
Welcome aboard.
So welcome as the new Parks and Rec Director. Welcome to the team.
So that's why I've been smiling all day, so getting some of these, and we actually have some more good news that'll come later. I don't want to make a premature announcement on the next job, but we got good news coming for some other jobs as well. And at the end, I would like to say something. I don't normally get on soapboxes and stuff like that, but I wanted to say something to all the council people. The Prowers Medical Center Health Fair, Wednesdays on July 12th, 17th, or 12th, 19th, and 26th from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The Ports of Plains Regional Update, July 12th, at Fort Morgan, Colorado, 1 to 3. And I know we're sending at least one person there.
Yeah.
The Windmill Classic, July 14th to 16th. We have the Chamber the Chamber of Commerce Farm Market on Saturday, July 15th at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's the one I always get involved in there. My coffees with Rob this month are July 19th at the Lamar Truck Plaza and July 26th at the Hickory House. So come on out, I will buy you coffee. My wife wanted me to remind you one more time, it's coffee with Rob, not breakfast with Rob, but I will buy you some coffee. Ivor Hill is going to be inviting the council and the public to come to an open house at one of his projects on 710 West Olive Street from 10 to 3 on Wednesday, July 19th, 2023. This is his renovation of the old homeless shelter. So he's been doing a lot of work out there. Friday with the Force on July 21st, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Willow Creek Park by the swimming pool. Come out and hang out with our police. Projects update, I'll let everybody ask their questions, but I wanted to say something that I saw. I'm proud of you guys for being able to put up your opinions like that in the face of questions, but I really appreciate our service, your opinions. It's good to have the backing of the council like you guys that let me get the people I need to be on a team. And I wanted to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, do you have any questions for the city administrator on his reports?
I don't have a question, I just want, don't get excited. I just want to say thank you to some citizens, Audrey and Steve Hernandez, who look out for our city employees. They messaged me, they were really concerned because their alley over on 8th and whatever, it looked like it was collapsing, and they were worried about the truck going through and getting hurt and stuff. And I talked to Pat, I sent him the pictures right away because I didn't know what time the truck went out.
Right.
And so Audrey and Steve tried covering it themselves, poor things, and they couldn't do it. So they did reach out to me and Mike, and I reached out to Pat right away because I was like, oh, that's all.
By the time I called him, he had 4 different sets of pictures sent
Yes.
to him, so he knew to take care of that
Yes.
one, so that was good.
And I
Thank
really
you.
like to thank Pat and the guys
Yep.
for doing that. And another one I want to say is, I can't remember the guy's name who does the ballpark. Tracy? A big thank you to him. I had people tell me that they couldn't get over how hard he worked, him and his staff on the ballparks, to get the water cleared up for these teams to play. And I met some of the teams from Denver in the park, and they were really impressed with our park. I said, oh, the water's just
Especially with
from
the
all the
water.
rain.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of compliments about our little community and the hard work that Tracy and his crew did. So I'd really like to thank them.
We did get a couple of comments, and that was one of the, I was gonna mention later about the, no, that, you did perfect, good segue. We got partnerships with some other fields. I think McClave was part of it. All of the Parks and Rec employees, you're getting a good crew. We're working very hard to keep, and it looks, I mean, God's been good to us and given us a lot of rain, and I think that it is an awesome thing to see, to drive around here and see what shape our parks are in. Did one mention that Tractor Supply is going to be putting on a farm to market thing. Is that on 12 July as well? I think they're going to do it out there in their
12th of July.
12th of July.
Fish Day.
Fish Day. Oh, okay.
So,
Are they going to put some fish out in the, let us go
And
fishing?
I do have one more thing. My class is having their class reunion this weekend. It's the 25th.
20th? Okay.
No, it's the 45th one, and we're doing it in the Pocket Park in the Shore Building, so
Okay.
there will be several people here for it.
Okay.
great.
Can I had been, someone reached out to me today and let me know that Rocky Mountain PBS is going to be bringing a filming crew down to the North Gateway Park area. And I just wanted to make sure that we've got crews cleaning that up. And then, on top of that, they're gonna be interviewing, I understand, a few people?
They're going to get a local,
Okay,
and we're going to get some of our people who were involved in the process of getting, so yes, we've got this.
that's gonna be a cool thing.
And it's highlighting the GoCo grants.
That's right,
correct?
GoCo
The Great
grants.
Outdoors Colorado grants. And
Awesome.
since the North Gateway Park was one of the Sunburst Awards.
That's
and it was
right.
such a huge success, everybody's loved it. So it'll be a great chance to.
And we'll try to get, when they're gonna air it and stuff, out to everyone, so we can, everybody.
And we also have CGI, who will be here this week and next week doing some filming as well. I know they're going to be meeting at the Pocket Park for the next 3 days and doing the promotional video for the city of Lamar. So if that's something you're interested in, I know that Martha just made a post about that.
Tomorrow at noon at Pocket Park, and then on Wednesday at the skate park at noon.
So noon on Wednesday at the skate park and tomorrow at noon at the Pocket Park. They're just taking basically informational videos of the city of Lamar. They want to engage people in the community and get some opinions for the video. But these are our promotional videos that are on the website for the city of Lamar, and they've been working hard to do that. So if you are available on those 2 times, please join in and participate. Let us showcase our city right. Any other questions for the city administrator?
Is there an update on the Bayreuth Calrican games?
What was that? Sorry, I had a direction.
The ball games that they're having, is there any updates on how it went, how it's going?
I believe they just completed it, right?
Yeah, we had a post.
Yeah,
Do you wanna
after
read that?
somebody had talked about that it went well, and that was what he was talking about, the water in the fields and.
They moved a couple of the games to McClave because some of them were delayed, but, so yeah. They finished.
Today?
Yep.
Today. I believe it was today.
Was it today?
Do you know if it was
That's
today? Yeah,
what
it was today.
It says today on
Okay.
Geneva Como posted on.
So great.
Well, the Denver people even said Lamar was a friendly town.
There you go.
That was
And
nice.
that's what we want to be.
Yes.
I got 3 things for Rob. Number 1, in your list of events that are going on, it came to my attention, the CareNet Pregnancy Center is having a fundraiser on the 16th of July, which is Sunday. I'm reading from the Facebook post. But that's a fundraiser, and I think that's a worthwhile organization that people need to kind of support for those that are having problems with pregnancy or low income, that type of thing. 2 things that came to my attention. One, there is a van right there when you turn off of Main Street onto Olive. Shouldn't that be a yellow zone right there next to the Max Hotel? There used to be a yellow, it's like kind of faded away. But that van is so close to the corner that I've seen a semi kind of make that turn and had to stop and hold up traffic.
So Main and Olive, taking a right
Right on the
towards?
corner.
Yeah,
Okay.
right next to the Maxwell.
On the south
It's
side
been
of
a white
it.
van that's been sitting there for a couple of days,
Okay,
and he's right up close to where the crosswalk
we'll take a look at
and
it.
everything. And then the other thing is, when we were talking about sidewalks, I know it's not on the grant, so I didn't bring it up to you, Kristen, but my grandson lives right next to Jerry, and he's getting away, rides his bike, but there's a piece of sidewalk right about in front of Oscar's house
Oh,
that's kind of up, makes it difficult for a 5-year-old to kind of walk with his mom up and down the sidewalk. It's up quite a bit, isn't it, Jerry? You've seen
Yes,
it?
it's bad.
It's very tilted upwards. And then that's all I have.
Okay.
Good report, Rob.
Yeah, I'd like to add, if possible. I know let's say, let me backtrack here. When I first started on the council, there wasn't very much street work being done because of budget constraints. We had just come out of the 2008, so we were really tight on budget, so a lot of the street work wasn't being handled. Pat had worked very diligently on making a plan to where he reviews all of the city streets, every mile of the city of Lamar, and he assigns so many miles every year, and we budget that in every year, so we try to touch the worst areas and make sure that within that 7-year period, we've touched every street in the city of Lamar. So I was wondering if maybe we might address that with Pat as far as sidewalks, to see if we can do a similar project with that. Maybe it's a 10-year period, or maybe it's something different, but we may add a sidewalk program like that, to where we can review different sidewalks within the city, and if there's areas that need to be repaired or replaced, we could start to budget that and do it more as a preventative rather than as a reactive. So, if you could look at that. Okay. All right. Any other questions for the city administrator? All right, seeing none, we will move on to reports and correspondence from the council.
I have one, believe it or not.
Okay.
It's the Lamar Fire Auxiliary. They're taking pre-orders, so everybody, if you're wanting baked goods, you'll need to, the orders will need to be taken by July 19th, and pickup will be July 30th at the fire department from 9 to 12. They have all kinds of goodies that they can make, cookies, no-bake cookies, snickerdoodles, you name it, they have it. And if you'd like to order, you can call Amanda at 719-691-1687.
Okay.
So make your order.
Okay. Joe, did you have anything?
Yeah, I would like to thank Val Baldwin and all the ladies from the Chamber of Commerce. They had a very successful event with the Glow in the Golf. Amidst all the rain, it still went off without a hitch. They've done a wonderful job. There were a lot of folks out there having fun. We got done by 11 o'clock that night, but they did a wonderful job with that glow-in-the-dark golf.
Yes, they did.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, Mike?
So on Sundays, that's when my wife gives me my alone time. So I get to take my motorbike out. So I went by, I lost it, the ponds.
North Gateway.
North Gateway Park. I bet there was 75 people out there fishing. It was overcast. It was still out there on paddle boats. I'm thinking I wouldn't be in that water. It's too cold. But anyways.
Paddle boats on one?
No, on the pond. Calm down. 2 or 3.
The signs are up.
Yes.
Yeah, the signs are up. They look good. And there's quite a few of them. So my friend Trina was out there fishing, and she was rolling in catfish like one after another, about that big. No, I'm not gonna say where she was fishing at. It was in pond 1, and she was just rolling them in as fast as she could.
Great.
While her husband just stood there and watched.
It's Terry.
No fish coming in.
And my cows.
And since I'm a car guy, I've been to quite a few events around Lamar. And the, what do you call the event?
Great race?
The Great Race?
Awesome. I was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was neat.
It was the most awesome thing I've ever seen. So that was good. Whoever was involved with it, good job, because it was awesome. That's all I got.
Okay. All right, go on to Mike.
The only thing I have is I'm planning on going up to Fort Morgan.
Oh, you're going too?
On Wednesday. Are you going, Rob?
No.
No? Okay. And I think Bev's going up, but she's going up for several nights.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm only gonna go up for just the business meeting, which is from 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
And this is for the Ports to Plains.
Ports to Plains, yes.
Business meeting. Yeah.
Business meeting, yep. get an update. The only thing I can kind of add to that is, and I talked to Joe Kiley a little bit last week, we need to really kind of get with our legislators and get Colorado on board. Texas, all the states around us, through that whole corridor, are all for it, but Colorado, for whatever reason, and I'm not sure what the reason is. I've got ideas, but we just need to get, more than that. But we just need to get Colorado on board, because I think it's advantageous for us to bring that up through, from an economy standpoint, through Lamar, Springfield, Eads, on up through Lyman and to the Canada border from Mexico, as opposed to going up I-25, which we've all seen the expansion on I-25. Comes a point where you can't expand anymore on I-25, and it's just going to add more and more. The logical is through eastern Colorado. That's all I have to say.
I have nothing to report. Nothing to report, Manuel? Okay.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report, Brent. All right, I do have a couple of quick items. You know,
Don't we, are you talking about before new business?
No, on the reports of correspondence.
Okay.
I was just going to state that we did have a meeting this morning with Karen Bryant, our monthly meeting with the PMC. Rob joined me on that meeting. It went very well. It was a very productive meeting. We talked about all the services and how they've finished up their strategic planning. They have 8 items that they're really working on, and many of those are based upon retention and adding new doctors, and as well as new services and improving services to our community. So it's very positive what's happening at Prowers Medical Center. They're really trying to get involved and build awareness of what they're doing and all the extra work that they're doing. So I encourage you, if you haven't had a chance, to get out to the hospital, not in a bad way, but just to see all the great things that they're doing, because, you know, their birthing center is going great. And it's those regional services that really makes us a hub and gives us an opportunity to grow for our community. So wanted to thank her for that meeting. Aside from that, I think we will just move on to the next item on the agenda, which is old business. Item number 1 for old business was an ordinance replatting West 94th Foot, Lots 7, 8, and 9 in Block 42, West Side Edition, in the City of Lamar, County of Prowers, State of Colorado. This is introduced by Stephanie Strube. She's not here tonight, but did one of you want to speak on this, or Rob, or?
I think Emery would like to read it second time, right?
Because it is an ordinance we would have to read in open session, so.
Can we read it?
We can definitely do that. Do you want to read it, or do you want me? Oh. I do have one if you need it. I'll go ahead and read it, that's all right. So with our ordinances, anytime we do a new ordinance, we have to read it in open session, the first and the second reading. So this is the first reading, and we'll do the approval on the first reading, then we'll bring it back to the next meeting and give the opportunity.
This is the second.
Oh, this is the second, sorry. So it gives the opportunity for anybody to hear the second reading of the ordinance, have any questions you can ask before we move forward. So anyhow, ordinance number 1262, an ordinance replatting the west 94th foot of lot 7, 8, and 9th in block 42, West Side Edition in the City of Lamar, County of Prowers, State of Colorado. Whereas proper application has been made to the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Lamar, Colorado to replat the west 94th foot of lot 7, 8th, and 9th in block 42 of the West Side Edition of Lamar, Colorado, and whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended to the City Council to replat or split the west 94th foot of lot 7, 8th, and 9th in block 42 of the West Side Edition to the City of Lamar to be split in half to make up 2 equal tracts. Tract 1, the west half of west 94th feet in lots 7, 8, and 9 of block 42 of the West Side Edition to the City of Lamar, containing 7,050 plus or minus square feet. Tract 2, the east half of the west 94th foot of lots 7, 8th, and 9th, block 42 of the West Side Edition to the City of Lamar, containing 7,050 plus or minus square feet. Resizing will not impair the stability, the saleability, or usability of either lot. Now therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado, that the West 94th foot, Slot 7, 8th, and 9th in Block 42 of the West Side Edition, City of Lamar, Colorado, to be split to create 2 tracts, County of Prowers, State of Colorado, B, and the same hereby is replatted. What is the council's pleasure on this?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any final questions? All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Unanimous in favor of?
This is introduced, read, full, and passed on the first reading on the 26th day of June, and in accordance with the City of Lamar, it will be passed today as the second reading. All right, so moving on, we will move to the next item on the agenda, which is award bid number 43-010 and approved professional photography services contract. This is initiated by Anne Marie Crampton and Martha Alvarez. Looks like we have Anne Marie.
Yes.
Now you're willing to come up.
Thank you. Community Development and Marketing and Communications would like to take advantage of the city's recent rains and resulting in green spaces to take professional photos of our facilities, fields, buildings, and summer events, really our assets. We need to have stock photography that shows how beautiful the city of Lamar can be. There are funds in the marketing and communications budget to cover that work. And when the future marketing and communications manager is hired, she's likely not to have the time or the equipment to take that project on herself. So giving her an inventory of stock photos will help her both in her office and with other departments. So the City of Lamar solicited proposals for professional photography services from qualified photographers to capture Lamar's assets for use on its promotional materials. Photography is expected to highlight Lamar's people and places and display the city's vitality and beauty. City staff included a list of required sites and events to be photographed, and bid packets were provided to local photographers, and a request for proposal was advertised in the local paper on June 22nd. 2 proposals were submitted and accepted by the treasurer's office by 5:00 p.m. on July 6th. The bid opening was held on the 7th, and treasurer's office reviewed the proposals as specified in the request for proposal. And I would like to note that accepting the contract, the photographer would agree to give all the rights to their original photography use and distribution to the City of Lamar, so they will become our photographs. And I'm just recommending that you make a decision on the 2 bids in front of you, one from Jill Smith and another from Karen Volpel.
And the recommendation is Jill Smith, according to the bid. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, council, do you have any questions for Anne Marie?
I have none.
And we would also request in your motion that you allow the mayor to sign the agreement that was developed. The attorney has looked at it, I believe.
Yeah.
Approved by Anne Marie, so.
Yeah, the one that's in there looks like an older version.
Oh,
So we just may need to have the updated one. I noticed that paragraph 4 was excluded and somehow it ended up in it, so.
Okay.
So if we can use, if you choose to make a motion, just add it pending the city attorney's review.
I have
Do we
a
have a
question.
motion?
Christian, what will be the balance of that marketing and communications budget after this?
Give me 1 second. I don't know, there's money budgeted in there for marketing materials. There's a $5,000 budget and 0 of that has been spent.
Okay.
So that's just one line in that budget, so.
Thank you.
There was plenty to cover this.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we go with Jill Smith with...
Pending attorney review?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pending the city attorney review?
Exactly.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a motion for Mike to approve with Jill Smith pending the city attorney's review, and we have a second with Jerry Jenkins. Are there any final questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, thank you, Anne Marie. As amended at the beginning of the council meeting, we did add in item number 2 and move miscellaneous down. Item number 2 is a request for extraterritorial water and sewer services. This is introduced by Patrick Mason, our Public Works Director, and Rob Evans. So Rob, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, I actually spoke, and I think our city secretary would probably do a better job explaining this one. It's a standard one, but.
City clerk?
Yeah, so staff received a request from Cullen Kraus for water and or sewer service for a single-family resident at 6734 County Road HH.5, which is, again, on West Maple Street in the Rodeo Drive area, Green Acres. He's very much aware of the requirements for the extraterritorial agreement. And once, if approved, once signed by the mayor, then we will record this and it will be a permanent document towards that location for any future property or homeowners.
So this is the contractor that's building these, right?
I believe, yeah, because it's somebody bringing in and setting the home.
Right.
But to get water and sewer service in the county, they have to do an extraterritorial agreement.
And part of the extraterritorial agreement is the understanding of the different rates for somebody that is outside of the services, is that correct?
Different rates, if we choose to annex,
Mhm.
they can oppose the annexation.
And the agreement to abide or build by our building
Our
codes.
building codes.
Under that territorial agreement, they would need to abide by our building codes. So what that does is it allows us to ensure that if we do annex in there, we have buildings that we're annexing that are by our same standards as within the city limits. So that's why we have to do these extraterritorials.
Do you think these are being in the closing documentation when they sell? Because I hate to see, a contractor sells to and it's the end user and then they.
This is the property owner. This isn't the contractor.
Oh, okay, so this is the end user.
This is.
Okay, thank you, that's where I was going, Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So what is council's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the extraterritorial water and sewer services agreement.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous. Do we have any miscellaneous items for the city administrator, staff, treasurer, clerk? Anybody? I had asked the question, I had it written down to ask you about the signs at North Gateway Park, fishing, or no swimming, or
And they were-
boating on Pond 1, so those are us, so that's good. Did you have anything else that we need to ask? Okay. All right, so with that said, and we will move on to our executive session. The executive session is for discussion of personnel matters to include discussion and/or refinements to the city administrator's contract under Colorado Revised Statute, Section 246402, subsection 4, subsection F. Do we have any questions on that? Or do we have a motion to move into executive session? Have a motion?
Second.
Second, any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, the motion passed. We will be moving into executive session. There will be no decisions coming out of the executive session, so directly after the executive session, we will adjourn the general meeting. Our next meeting is Monday, July 24th, here at 7 p.m. Hope you can join us. Other than that, thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you have a good evening.